Hello and welcome to our election headquarters at CNBC TV 18. We're tracking polling across 88 seats in the country. It's a very important battle for the opposition. The Prime Minister earlier today has been hitting out at the Congress party, saying that Congress for decades have looted the people in the country, weakened India's security and mocked our culture. Never again. The Congress is hitting back and blaming the Narendra Modi government, the BJP, for trying to divide the country along communal lines. Let's see what we have at stake today. Let me start with Jammu and Kashmir. One seat, that is Jammu, is going to polls in Jammu. Now, this has been the stronghold of BJP. Jugal Kishore Sharma, he's been winning consecutively from here, and he is looking to win again this time around. He is up against the India Bloc candidate, R. Bhalla, who is the working president of the J&K Congress. You have top leaders of the BJP like Amit Shah who've campaigned for him over here to make sure that the BJP wins from this stronghold. Let's also speak about Chhattisgarh, an important battle here in the Hindi heartland. 3 seats going to polls this time around. Rajasthan will be interesting because the Congress has put its best men forward. You've got Bhupesh Baghel, the former chief minister, fighting against BJP's sitting MP, Santosh Pandey. So this is going to be a tough contest for Santosh Pandey to defend his seat, because you've got none other than the former chief minister and a Congress leader, Bhupesh Baghel, fighting from the Rajasthan seat. You also have Kanker and Mahasamund. Both these seats were won by the BJP, but the party has changed MPs on these seats this time around. Why is this important? Because the BJP, which is now gunning for a third term all across the country, has replaced over 100 MPs in this election. Now, if you go across to Uttar Pradesh, 8 seats in UP are going to polls. They had only lost Amroha in 2019 to Danish Ali, and this time they're hoping to win Amroha once again. Changes that have happened in Meerut, where they have brought in Arun Govil, who has always played the role of Ram in Ramayan. You also have a change in Ghaziabad. Ghaziabad was where VK Singh, General VK Singh, the Minister of State for Civil Aviation, the Minister of State for Transport, had originally been the MP from, but this time they've changed this to Atul Garg. Rajasthan was a clean sweep for the BJP, and they're trying to continue their winning streak. Even Madhya Pradesh, all the seats going to polls were a clean sweep for the BJP this time around. The Congress is putting up a tough fight, and we believe, and this is what our reporters have been telling us on the ground, that the entire debate over inheritance tax has created some ripples here. It is a talking point among voters, because the BJP is spreading the word in remote corners of the country that Congress, if it wins elections, then your share of ancestral property, your wealth will be redistributed among other people. So this has become a talking point, definitely. Whether it impacts the voter or not while his voting decision takes place, that we'll have to wait and see. Kerala, Karnataka will be very important states to watch out for. Kerala especially because the BJP has never won here. Hormuz Patakia, my colleague, is standing by at the election center in Mumbai. Hormuz has been tracking the markets this morning, and Hormuz, markets react to emotions, and what more to emotions and what's happening nationally all across the country in the political sphere. Give me a sense of what you are tracking, the key contests, the key fights, and some of the interesting candidates.
Emotions indeed, and thanks a lot for that, Parikshit. And I'd first start off with the voter turnout so far as of 1 p.m. Some heartening numbers coming in there, because voter turnouts in areas of Chhattisgarh, in Manipur and Tripura have already crossed the 50% mark as of 1 p.m. So voting is happening at a brisk pace in all of these areas. And some of the seats that I highlighted in our earlier conversation as well was Pathanamthitta, that I was mentioning in Kerala, that has seen a 38% voter turnout as of 1 p.m. Kota, as you were highlighting earlier as well, 42% turnout there as of 1 p.m. We'll talk about Kota in just a bit. And Rajasthan, as you were mentioning a few minutes earlier, has seen a turnout of 47% as of now. But I was speaking about Kota, where Om Birla is seeking a third term. The outgoing Lok Sabha Speaker, Om Birla, is seeking a third term there, and he's up against Prahlad Gunjal, the Congress candidate. But interestingly, this is being perceived as some sort of a grudge match, is also because of the fact that Prahlad Gunjal only until March of this year was a BJP leader, and he switched over to the Congress party, and then immediately the Congress party had declared him as the candidate for the election against Om Birla in Kota. Now, why this is interesting also is because Gunjal as a leader has been close to former Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje. So that faction, he's been close to the former Chief Minister there, and he's a strong local Gujjar leader as well. So the Gujjars have a pretty dominant presence in Kota. So he's a strong Gujjar leader, and both Gunjal and Birla have been part of the BJP for almost 2 decades until Gunjal switched over, but never have both of them shared warm camaraderie, because both of them, the issues between the two of them have been out in the open for quite a while now. But there have been, both of these candidates have indulged in some form of mudslinging against each other with personal remarks as well. Although now with elections polling drawing closer, their personal remarks took a back seat, but the fight in Kota is very intense. But in the middle of all of this, some of the actual issues plaguing Kota have not been addressed whatsoever. One of them being that the need for an airport in the city, that issue has not been addressed. Both the parties, the Congress and the BJP, have indulged in a blame game against each other with regards to this issue. The other one being student suicides. The Kota being an engineering hub for students, that has seen an increase in the number of student suicides over the last few years, and that issue has also taken a backseat and has not been addressed in any of the political campaigns. And lastly, the caste complexities, of course, that always has a major role to play, because the electorate there in Kota is including the likes of the SCs, STs, Meenas, the Gujjars, and the other factor also here is the Shanti Dhaliwal factor. Now, who is Shanti Dhaliwal? Is the leader who Prahlad Gunjal had actually defeated in 2013 in the assembly elections as a BJP candidate, and he, as the Congress strongman there, his faction has not, according to reports, has not supported Prahlad Gunjal's campaign whatsoever. So an interesting battle developing there in Kota. As of 1 p.m, 41% voter turnout so far, despite the scorching heat over there. The other one that you were referring to, Amroha, the only seat in Uttar Pradesh that the BJP has not managed to win in 2019. That was when Kunwar Danish Ali is seeking a re-election, but this time on a Congress ticket. And this last time in 2019, he had won as a BSP candidate by over 63,000 votes. He had defeated Kanwar Singh Tanwar by that margin. And Kanwar Singh Tanwar has been an MP in 2014. He lost in 2019 and now is seeking a re-election by contesting against Kunwar Danish Ali. So a 41% turnout in as of 1 p.m. in Amroha as well. And Amroha as a seat has seen steady voter turnouts both in 2014 and 2019 of around 71%. The last one that I wanted to refer to is Mathura in Uttar Pradesh, where Hema Malini is seeking a third term as MP, and Mathura as a seat has voted pretty decisively in most of the elections. When Hema Malini contested in her first term, she won by over 4 lakh votes. In 2019, she won by over 3 lakh votes. And in her affidavit, when she declared her assets, she had declared assets worth around 279 crores, is the third richest candidate among all the candidates in the fray in this poll, in this round of voting. And also, what's also interesting is that, as I said, Mathura votes very decisively because Hema Malini had a 60% vote share in 2019. And the only candidate with a higher vote share in Mathura compared to Hema Malini goes all the way back to 1977, when Maniram Bagri, the Janata Party candidate, had received 75% of the votes. That was during the Janata Party wave, during the anti-emergency wave as well. So that was the... so since then, no other candidate has received a 60% vote share, but Hema Malini did in 2019. So this will be an interesting battle to watch out for. But Mathura is not known to be a very heavy voter turnout. 64% in 2014 to 63 in 2019, and as of 1 p.m. it's only 32% so far. So we'll see if the numbers grow as the day draws to a close. But some interesting battles developing as the day goes by. Some very interesting ones in Uttar Pradesh for sure. Back to you, Parikshit.
Right, very interesting contest and excellent analysis, Hormuz. Let's also speak about one more seat in Uttar Pradesh. We're speaking about Meerut, and Abhimanyu has been going to Meerut. He had spoken about Arun Govil there as well. Arun Govil's popularity factor as someone who played drum on the television for many years. So the BJP is hoping to cash in on his popularity. But This morning and this afternoon, Abhimanyu has been tracking Ghaziabad as a constituency. Abhimanyu, tell us why the sitting MP here, General V.K. Singh, was replaced by Atul Garg. Who is Atul Garg? How is the contest in Ghaziabad? And what have been the voting trends like? Is it slow? Is it fast?
Well, till now, the voter turnout has been tepid like the rest of Uttar Pradesh, and it's expected to pick up by the evening. Of course, heat is clearly a factor which is possibly deterring people from coming out, though not just model polling booths, but all polling booths have witnessed arrangements of drinking water and ample shade from sunshine by the Election Commission to ensure that the problems are eased for voters who are coming out to vote. Nevertheless, it's expected that voter turnout may increase as the day progresses, particularly after 4 p.m. Even in the previous phase, we had seen at several places that there were queues which started increasing after 4 p.m. And even after the formal end of voting period, whichever people were standing in the queue, they were allowed to vote. So clearly voting may go up till as late as 6 p.m., 7 p.m. or even 8 p.m. for that matter, given how long queues can be at several places. Speaking of the constituency Ghaziabad, General V.K. Singh has represented this constituency twice. Prior to him was Union Minister Rajnath Singh from 2009 to 2014, and that is when this constituency was created after delimitation in 2008. So the past 3 times the BJP has won this seat, and this time around they have replaced him with Atul Garg, who is a sitting BJP MLA from one of the assembly segments in the Ghaziabad Lok Sabha constituency. Now that's an interesting mix. Ghaziabad Lok Sabha constituency has 5 assembly segments, all of which have BJP MLAs currently, though many of the segments have witnessed people and candidates from other parties who have won in the past, be it the Samajwadi Party or the BSP. Speaking of the India Alliance candidate, Dolly Sharma is the India Alliance candidate. BSP has also fielded a candidate. So it's going to be a 3-cornered contest like it was in 2019. Though the electoral equations were different at that point of time, since the Samajwadi Party and BSP were contesting together and Congress was contesting separately. However, anti-incumbency is something which both the BSP as well as the India Alliance are trying to capitalize on. They are trying to build on to anti-incumbency. Meanwhile, the BJP is trying to possibly ensure and consolidate its vote share and possibly increase it even further by fielding one of the sitting MLAs from one of the assembly segments out here itself. So clearly, the BJP also wants to cash in onto his popularity. Given the size of the constituency, it is quite diverse. Ghaziabad, the Ghaziabad city is a part of the Delhi National Capital Region. It's a satellite city of Delhi and has a largely urban electorate beset with several urban issues, be it civic infrastructure or high prices of flats, which possibly had put off several people from buying flats in the recent times. Speaking of other assembly segments, Loni, Sahibabad, even Muradnagar for that matter, they have a significant industrial belt. Several industrial workers also exist out there, and there are several villages. So clearly, caste factor certainly would be in the fray, since there are several villages, a belt of villages which still exist, but an industrial belt and urban segments will possibly ensure that this will be an interesting contest, and not just caste considerations, but several other factors pertaining to anti-incumbency, be it civic infrastructure, be it several other issues pertaining to job creation, and also for MSMEs as far as compliances are concerned. Of course, reduction of compliance burden is something which MSMEs have repeatedly spoken of, so it remains to be seen to what extent that is something which is going to determine the fate of this Lok Sabha seat.
All right. Thank you very much for that comprehensive analysis, Abhimanyu. Let's also quickly speak about Bihar before we go across to Kerala, where Neetu Regukumar is standing by. Bihar is one state where the Election Commission has actually extended voting hours till 6 p.m. Now, you've got Kishanganj, Katihar, Purnia, Bhagalpur, Banka going to polls. The NDA-JDU alliance is contesting all the seats here. Congress is contesting 3, the RJD 2. So let's see how the opposition and the BJP, JDU combine performs. But one thing that the opposition is talking about is how Nitish Kumar jumped ship just for political convenience, he has let down the voters of the country. Now, coming to Kerala, very important for the NDA's fortunes as well. Now, this is a state where the BJP has never won. Neetu, give us a sense of what's at stake today. How has the voting pattern been so far? And if you compare the voting percentage to previous elections in the state, how have things been this time around?
See, in Kerala, generally, the voting percentage is on the higher side. Last time, for the entire Kerala, it was about 77%, and in Thiruvananthapuram, it was about 73.4%. But what we are witnessing this time is that in the early hours itself, we are seeing long queues. Like even before 7 o'clock, though the voting starts at 7 a.m., by about 6:30, we saw long queues even within the city areas of Thiruvananthapuram constituency, which is very which is very unlikely in the normal cases. So that is something which is seen. Earlier, when it was mostly the bipolar, the elections and the parties that were going on, earlier it was said that if the voting percentage increases, it was advantage UDF and disadvantage for the LDF. But this time, in at least some constituencies, there is a serious show by the BJP. So this time, we're not really sure how this increasing voting percentage will affect. But in the early hours, we are seeing by about 1 o'clock, the voting percentage is about 40%. Thiruvananthapuram, Attingel, these are all constituencies which are seeing higher voter turnout. Now, if you look at the issues throughout the election for the past 37, 38 days, what had inflation, price hike, the to and fro between Chief Minister and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, but also the Congress and the left has been raising issues saying that this is an election to save the democracy of the country, to save the constitution of the country, and even Prime Minister's speech has been discussed in the past week. Manipur has been one of the issues which have been. Now, if I could just ask my camera person to pan and show the situation here at this booth here, it's about even at this time we are seeing that people are coming out to cast their vote, but it is not the large numbers like we witnessed in the early hours. This could be two reasons, because after 11 o'clock the heat increases by about 12 o'clock and all. It's a peak summer time, so that could also be the reason why people came out early in the day. Also, this was a high octane political campaign that was going on for the past 37, 38 days, and we can see that people of all age groups, the younger, the elderly, women, coming out in large numbers and casting their vote. So these are the scenes that we are witnessing in Kerala, and this is not just in Thiruvananthapuram constituency, but across Kerala we are seeing this long queue.
Right. Thank you very much, Neetu, for getting us that comprehensive report. Would it be also possible for you to go across to the women voters right behind you? Nari Shakti and reaching out to women has been a big priority for all political parties. Are there certain aspirations they may want to share with you as to what they are looking in terms of change from this election? There's one lady right behind you.
Oh, we'll just try and get some reactions, but I'm not really sure. Ma'am, when you come in for voting, what do you look at in your candidate? Or എന്താണ് നോക്കുന്നത് കാൻഡിഡേറ്റിൽ എന്താണ് നോക്കുന്നത് എന്താണ് ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് ആണോ ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് ആണ് ഈ പ്രൈം മിനിസ്റ്റർ ഈ നാരി ശക്തി വിമനെ റീച്ച് ഔട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ കോൺഗ്രസും ഒക്കെ ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറയുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു അത് നിങ്ങളുടെ മനസ്സിലേക്ക് വന്നോ എന്താണ്
കുറേയൊക്കെ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്
yeah, what she was saying is that development is something which they look into when they are in to cast their vote, and also what the Congress manifesto also been. That's a question that we have asked. Been talking about women issues. The Prime Minister. So she's saying that those are also issues that they consider, but development is something which is in their mind.
All right, development is something that is in the minds of women in Kerala. Let's also go across to Jude Sanath. He's standing by in Karnataka, and we have been speaking about the importance in Karnataka. The BJP had done very well in the state in 2019, but this time, of course, you've got the Congress in power in the state assembly, and the Congress has been hating out against the BJP over the last few months, ever since the budget, saying that you've denied financial resources to the state. And the Chief Minister has also been hitting out at the BJP over the manifesto. Jude, what is the sense that you're getting? How have the voting trends been since morning? What has been the aspiration of the average Karnataka voter, of the Bengaluru voter, as far as this election goes?
You know, it's really interesting that you're asking me that question, Parikshit. Before I answer it, let's give our viewers some sense of context from the ground as far as Karnataka, or more specifically, these 14 seats in Karnataka that are going to the polls are concerned. 14 seats, remember, back in 2019, the BJP won 11 of them. There were 2 more that were won by independent candidates backed by the BJP and who supported them in return, and a grand total of just 1 seat went to the Congress. That was 5 years ago, and 5 years is way too long a time as far as politics is concerned, because how the tables have turned. It was only last year that the Congress scored a resounding victory in the Karnataka Assembly polls, scripting quite the comeback. In fact, more than double of the BJP's entire seat tally in the Assembly is being held by the Congress today, which is why the Congress is riding on a heavy confidence wave going into these crucial 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Now, what are the issues and why is the Congress continuing to be in combat mode? Well, very simple. Like you rightly pointed out, there are a number of fingers that point to the BJP on multiple fronts. Remember, just like in Tamil Nadu, there's a fiscal politics that's playing out here, wherein the incumbent Congress is accusing the centre, run by the BJP, of course, of not, of not parting with adequate capital to a state like Karnataka. There is, of course, north-south divide. There is a very prominent and very pronounced linguistic divide here in Karnataka. Many would remember just a few weeks in the run-up to the polls, there was, a whole Karnataka language campaign that, that went about multiple parts of the city. So a number of very key emotive issues are at play insofar as not just Karnataka, but north, south, central and rural Bangalore are concerned. And that's pretty much where I'm coming to you from, even as voters amble and make their way to cast their vote well into the afternoon. Remember, it's rather interesting because where I'm coming to you from, Bangalore Central, is very much a BJP stronghold. The party has not lost a seat here since 2009. In fact, north, south and central Bengaluru have been held by the BJP since 2019. So for all that it's done and for all the existing, emotive issues that one might possibly see as against the ruling party in the centre, the fact is the BJP has done rather well in Karnataka. And this is important to the party for more reasons than one. Crucially, Karnataka is the BJP's gateway, so to speak, as far as electoral gains in South India are concerned. They don't have great presence in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala, in Andhra, Telangana, but Karnataka has been, a standout state really as far as the Saffron Party is concerned, and that's why they'd want to do well over here. But anti-incumbency, Parikshit, is truly a factor, and that's weighed in also on a number of issues that the Bengaluru voter contends with at the polling booth. Remember, infrastructure is a key issue, traffic is a key issue, water is a very important issue this time around. Then there are surrounding issues. There's been a whole lot of buzz and chatter about inheritance tax. And the voter will have almost all of this in mind, even as he or she goes to vote in what is largely being seen as a stronghold of the BJP. But you never know. Given the assembly gains last year, the Congress might well do rather better than usual this time around. But let's also remember, Parikshit, a number of voters we spoke to since the early part of the morning have been saying that it isn't exactly a given for the Congress. Winning last year doesn't automatically mean an advantage, because the voter is aware that the vote this time around is for not just a local MP, but also for the face of the party that will govern India for the next 5 years. So a lot of voters we spoke to said they're keeping this in mind. So it's not so much about voting either Tejasvi Surya or Soumya Reddy or PC Mohan or, or Mr. Gowda to the parliamentary seat of North Central or South Bengaluru. It's also about picking the leader that will govern the country for the next 5 years. So a very politically aware, politically conscious voter is whom we're seeing in Karnataka. Which way they'll go, the fact is we can keep guessing, but we'll know only in a few weeks from now, Parikshit.
Absolutely. And you said that Karnataka has been the BJP's gateway to the south. You couldn't have been more right. We've got an analysis right here. In 2019, the India Alliance parties won 65 seats in the south zone with a 35% vote share. So this was a place where the opposition really gained last time around, and they are strong even now. The NDA had won 34 seats, the bulk of the seats coming from Karnataka and a handful of seats from Andhra Pradesh. Kerala, Tamil Nadu, these are states where they've not really been able to make major inroads on their own. Let me now go across to Rohini. Rohini is joining us from Bangalore Rural. Rohini, tell us about the importance of Bangalore Rural. What's happening there?
Well, the poll fight in Karnataka is the Congress guarantee versus Modi guarantee. Now, the Congress, which is in power in the state, is quite confident that they will be able to get as many seats as possible. Now, let's break it down for you. The Congress had, in the previous election, had one seat. A lone MP from this particular seat where I stand from, Bangalore Rural, which is DK Suresh. While the BJP had 26 seats, and out of the 28 seats in the Karnataka Lok Sabha elections. Now, the BJP feels that the Modi factor is very important. Whoever we speak to in Karnataka, all the BJP Lok Sabha candidates, they say that they are a candidate, but it's Modi's fight in Karnataka. Every single candidate is Modi, and it is Modi who will turn the tables for them in their favor. And they're actually, they believe they will be able to get 28 out of 28 seats, and that is what they're aiming at. The Congress, on the other hand, feels that the Congress guarantees are going to play a very major role in this election. The Congress guarantees are 5 guarantees: the Griha Shakti, the Griha Lakshmi, Yuva Nidhi, as well as you have the Shakti, which is the free bus ride as well. These kind of guarantees, which reached out to the people after the Congress won the assembly elections in 2023, they say that has reached the last woman in every house in Karnataka. And it's not just the women folk, but the men also have benefited out of it. And that is why they feel that the wind is in their favor and the wind is for change. Now let's break it down in terms of how they're looking into it politically. The political strategy of the Congress has been targeting development. They talk about their Congress guarantees, and they say that if they can manage to turn the tables around in places like Telangana and form a government, in Karnataka they can form a government, why not bring it for the India Alliance as well? But at the same time, the BJP feels that not just Prime Minister Modi, but his 2 terms that he has, the 10 years of his rule, has definitely impacted people right down to the ground level. People understand that this election is Prime Minister Modi's election, and their vote should be for Prime Minister Modi. In all this, you have one underlying factor, and that is the factor of cash for votes. And that is one that came right at the beginning of voting day in this first phase. Karnataka is split into 2 phases. It has the first phase, which goes to election today, and then you have another one on May 7th. H.D. Kumaraswamy, who is the JDS leader, former Chief Minister of Karnataka, who is in alliance with the BJP, has alleged and accused the Congress of buying votes. He said that a QR code card has been given around to people to encash later. And he also said this was done during the assembly elections, but the money did not come to them. But now that allegation is being refuted by the Congress, and the Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. D.K. Shukma, told as very clearly asking, ask Kumaraswamy how much money he has spent and where cash for votes has happened as well. So this is also a major factor in this political election. But another important aspect that people are looking to voting, especially when they're standing in line here in these polling booths and casting their vote, is about 2 things. One is right to life, because water is a major issue. Karnataka is facing drought. Every drop of water counts, and they're hoping that water can be an essence, and that any government or whoever comes who is elected can ensure that there is water that is being brought to the doorstep, because Karnataka is suffering. Bangalore is thirsty. Karnataka is thirsty as well. And that is one plea. The second one they're asking is for development. They say there are many areas that have been untouched by the governments that have come and gone. So whoever is elected should ensure that roads are given, they have enough connectivity, and finally people and cities are connected, and that is how a country grows. With Vijay Nitin Sonamani, Rohini Swamy in Bangalore Rural Lok Sabha constituency for CNBC TV 18.
Thank you so much, Rohini, for getting us that comprehensive analysis from Bangalore Rural. Let me now go across to Sandhya Gora. Sandhya has been traveling the length and breadth of Maharashtra to get us these reports. Sandhya, let's talk about Maharashtra now. 8 seats going to polls. The NDA won 7 last time around. How has the BJP tried to retain its vote share, its core vote bank and seats in this region?
So, Parikshit, for BJP, before we come to that, let me also talk about the voting percentage in Maharashtra till 1 p.m. It's actually disappointing because for the first phase till 1 p.m., the voting percentage for Maharashtra was a little above 32. But this time, till 1 p.m., the voting percentage for Maharashtra is only slightly above 31, which means less than as compared to what it was for the first phase at the same till 1 p.m. Now, talking about how BJP is placed, now the 8 seats which where the polling is happening as we speak, out of those 8 seats, 5 are of the Vidarbha region and 3 are of Marathwada. And Nanded is one of the most important seats for not only BJP but also for the India Alliance. Now, till 2019, Nanded was Congress's turf. It was in only 2019 that BJP breached the space and BJP's Mr. Chiklikar won that seat. At that time, he defeated then Congress leader Ashok Chavan. This time also, BJP has repeated its sitting MP and Pratap Rao Chiklikar is BJP's candidate. But what has changed? What happened a couple of months ago, that was in February, Ashok Chavan switched sides. From Congress, he went to BJP. Now, at that time, it was expecting, or at least the BJP was hoping, that this shift of the leader of Ashok Chavan from Congress to BJP will also lead to some voter base shifting from Congress to BJP. That was the hope at least. But as of now, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Ashok Chavan, who also is a very popular Maratha face, is actually facing a lot of opposition and a lot of agitation from the Maratha community. Now, Maratha community, why Maratha community of Maharashtra is agitated? It's because of the Maratha reservation demand the community has been making for all these decades. But this time also, once more, the community was promised full reservation, but that did not happen. Even when the state government came up with its bill, it was just 10% reservation for jobs and education, not a full reservation which the community was demanding, which brought the community back to, not trusting the Mahayuti alliance. The situation for Mahayuti alliance went to, it was diluted, all the effort which was taken by the government to come up with the bill. Now, what happened when Ashok Chavan actually tried to campaign for BJP and for Pratap Rao Chiklikar, who actually was his competitor in 2019 and he lost to him, but this time Ashok Chavan at least tried to campaign for Pratap Rao Chiklikar, as if he himself was the candidate, but he faced a lot of protest from his supporters, also from his people. There were multiple incidents when he was not allowed to enter many villages. He was not, his car was gherified by the voters, by the people of the constituency, and they expressed their displeasure. And that is, affecting and hampering BJP's chances as well in the constituency, because despite Mr. Chiklikar's victory, anti-incumbency remains a factor there. He's accused of not being available to the people of his constituency.
Sandhya,
and apart from Maratha...
Right. Sandhya, I'll have to leave it there for the moment, but thank you very much for that comprehensive analysis from Maharashtra. Let's finally take a look at BJP's losses in 2019 as we are wrapping. There were 133 seats across the country which they lost. The maximum losses coming from states like Telangana, from Odisha, from West Bengal to Assam, Manipur, parts of the Northeast, some parts of Uttar Pradesh, but the maximum were from Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So it's very important for the BJP, the NDA, to win big in South India. Also make sure that they make big inroads into West Bengal this time, winning more seats. This is going to be tough, definitely. The BJD in Odisha is the dominant force, but the BJD has been not allied with either the Congress or the BJP. They always say that they will remain an issue-based party. With that, we come to the end of this discussion on election exchange. We'll continue getting you analysis from the ground on what's happening across the 88 constituencies in Phase 2.